Rollin with Nolen. I just want to thank President Trump. My prayers for the presidential debate. He did it so well. He was calm and intelligent, and that's what I prayed for him. And that is what he needed to be, and he did it. My God, he did it. And we're all so proud of him. You know what I mean? So, we've just got to keep it up, President Trump, because we're going to have you back in office in no time. But I want to say to you, as you can see, I'm waving to you, I am not just voting for Donald Trump. I am voting for the Second Amendment. I am voting for the next Supreme Court justice. I am voting for the Electoral College and the republic we live in. I am voting for the police and law and order. I am voting for the military and the veterans who fought for this country. I am voting for the unborn babies that have a right to live. I am voting for the flag that is always missing from the Democratic background. I am voting for the right to speak my opinion and not be censored. I am voting for restraining the size of government. I am voting for reduced taxes and eased regulations. I am voting for increased military spending. I am voting for school choice and charter schools. I am voting for the return of record low unemployment and record high economic growth. I am voting to end sanctuary cities. I am voting for legal immigration and secure borders so terrorists and criminals do not come into the country and kill Americans. I am voting for an administration that has done an excellent job in keeping its promises. I am not just voting for one person. I am voting for the future of my country. Now, I know that you understand that. There's no doubt in my mind that you get why that we have to vote like this. I mean, Donald Trump is the man, and I just want to go over and I was looking at this thing from Sky News. It was about the debate and, what exactly, it happened there. And skynews.com, I need you to go there because I need to give them full credit for this because they are the ones that produced this and I'm just using it. But I have such a small audience, it is insignificant. I'm not stealing any monetization from them in any way, shape, or form, but I am sharing with those that do watch my program and channel what's really, really going on. So here it goes. Enjoy the show.
If the 81-year-old President Joe Biden could get through it without making enormous mistakes, which is unfortunately what we've been used to seeing over the last 4 years. Well, despite being in hiding for a week at Camp David with an empty schedule so his staff could prepare him for going up against Donald Trump, the moment Joe Biden entered the stage, he shuffled his way to the microphone and he looked like he was in desperate need of assistance. Now, after just 10 minutes on stage, it appeared as though he was falling asleep at the podium. His eyes were shut for a few moments as if he was going into a micro sleep before suddenly he opened up his eyes and he was back with us again. And he continued to do that throughout the first half of that debate. But that was just the beginning. When Joe Biden started speaking, well, that's when we really got into dangerous territory. He was referencing tax laws and he claimed America has 1,000 trillionaires.
What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America.
Look, I'm not sure if that's the case, Joe Biden, but look, sounds great. And then when he was trying to make more points, it was just more rambling, waffle, and a lot of losing his train of thought.
Eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Then, when he wanted to make his point about abortion, he just repeated the word period 3 times.
But we are not for late-term abortion, period, period, period.
Very strong, Joe Biden. Well done. Now, nearly every journalist and commentator that I caught up with in the lead up to this debate told me that they were expecting a stronger than usual Joe Biden to turn out today due to the amount of time he had to prepare and the amount of assistance that he was getting in the lead up to this debate. but he has failed to do that today. If it somehow wasn't clear before, it is crystal clear now. He is no longer cut out for the top job. Yesterday, I caught up with podcaster Brad Palumbo, who told me the rules of this debate were set up to favour Joe Biden, including a halftime break.
Well, we can expect a show, that's for sure. Donald Trump, if he's one thing, is an entertainer. And then Joe Biden has a lot to prove to the American public because a lot of people, including Democrats and independents, are really concerned about his ability to actually do the job of being president. We've seen him glitch and freeze and look confused. We've seen him call out to dead people or non-existent human beings on too many occasions to count during public events or ceremonies. And so he's got the most to prove here. All Trump needs to do, he's up in many polls. He's in a strong position. Trump just kind of needs to not mess anything up, not cause himself any problems, which, you know, with him, he could always say something unexpected. But Biden's the one who I think will really be scrutinized intensely to see, is he up for it?
Apparently, Joe Biden's team have scheduled frequent breaks during his preparation for this debate. They're trying their best to keep him sharp for this debate against Donald Trump. And the 81-year-old president and his close team have moved to Camp David for intensive practice sessions, gearing up for the first of two crucial debates. How nervous would you be if you worked for Joe Biden right now?
Well, I would have absolutely refused to let him on the debate stage. I would have said, we're not doing it. Make whatever excuse you have to avoid it. But one thing I noticed is that they were able to negotiate something unusual, which is there's going to be 2 commercial breaks during this 90-minute debate. And that's unusual. Historically, in general election presidential debates in the U.S., there are no commercial breaks. You just run through for 90 minutes. You'd think the leader of the free world should be able to just speak and answer questions from a podium with a glass of water for an hour and a half. You'd think that'd be no big deal, but they were actually able to negotiate for 2 commercial breaks and other rules that seem very favorable to Biden. For example, the other person's mic will be turned off while the other is speaking, which stops Trump from getting his jabs in or undercutting or throwing Biden off, which is something Trump's very good at. We saw him famously do that to Hillary Clinton on multiple occasions in 2016. So this debate stage seems to have been skewed to be as favorable as possible to Biden with some unusual accommodations. But I would still be very worried that he's going to refer to himself as a senator, refer to himself as vice president, reference a dead colleague who died years ago as if he's just spoken to them or as if he's just seen them, confuse world leaders that he's recently engaged with for ones that have actually been out of office or dead for years. I'd be very concerned that he'd be going to do that on the debate stage, but I guess it feels like he has to because things aren't going well for him, I guess. He feels behind in a lot of the polls, or that he's got to try to make a case to the people to show them he's not too frail or too old to do the job. So the onus really is on Biden.
I would argue that he's really failing to make that case, though, when there is so much concern around his age and his mental health. The fact that there are breaks in this debate, I think, really doesn't help. It really feeds into the narrative that, no, he's not up to the job.
It definitely does, but only if you know that that's unusual. And I guess because in the presidential primary debates, so the Republican primary and the Democratic primary, they have presidential debates, and it's fairly normal for there to be commercial breaks during those ones. But it's just the general election televised debates where historically there haven't been commercial breaks. So he might be banking on the fact that a lot of people won't notice that. I mean, heck, we have commercial breaks mid American football games here. So people are pretty used to commercials. So I think he's probably hoping that people don't notice that that's actually quite unusual.
Well, we are going to notice if there's another gaffe, which, look, I would put my money on that there probably will be. I don't know how long he can really last speaking until he stumbles and makes a mistake, but we will wait and see tomorrow. How crucial is this debate really when, of course, we know the 2 candidates so well, Donald Trump and Joe Biden? Is this a debate actually going to change the minds of voters?
Well, the impact of presidential debates is pretty limited, but it's definitely not zero. And the thing is, I think pretty much everyone agrees this is going to, especially with the electoral college system, it could be an incredibly close election. It could come down to just thousands of votes in a handful of swing states, like it famously did for Trump's 2016 victory. So in that kind of an environment where it's so razor thin, a moment from these debates where Biden looks confused or where he mixes up a name or refers to a dead person, which he just does all the time, that could actually hurt him. Whereas a couple months ago or a little while back, he gave a speech for the State of the Union where he was yelling a lot. There was a lot of bizarre substance to it, but he actually...
Well, there's no doubt in my mind that President Donald J. Trump won that debate. Hands down. It doesn't matter. He can jump up and down now, Donald Trump, because you did exactly what you should have done. You were calm, you were intelligent, and you took Biden out to the middle of the desert, and he just did himself in out there. You know, his ship sunk all by himself. And so you're the next president of the United States, Donald Trump, number 47. He's coming November 5th. Make sure you vote for him, but it seems like it's going that way anyway. He's definitely got my vote and everybody I know's vote, because that's the way to go. Now, we got, you heard them talk about commercials and all that kind of stuff, and usually in those kind of debates, they don't have commercials. But on this one, I'm trying to help find Alex Velez. He is a missing person, and I'm going to play this for you, and I'm talking while the music in the background is playing, I guess, and Alex is missing, and you can call that phone number if you see or hear him. He started out in Orlando, Florida. He then ended up in Idaho, and then he drove from Idaho to Arizona. And so if you see him, hear of him, know of him, or anybody tells you, I saw that guy, call us at 239-628-2345. We are so grateful and very much appreciative of all the help that you can offer us. And, we do love the man. He is a good man. And we're going to keep up with that. And let's find him together. We can do it. Call that number like I told you. All right. It's been a fantastic night. I'm so glad that you showed up, and God will be with you. God is with all the people that you love and care about. I know if you had somebody missing, we'd be praying about him. You can send an email to me to the email address on the screen that I'm putting up right now. Just send it to charles.nolen1@gmail.com, your comments and suggestions. And if you want to use the email rather than the phone number, please feel comfortable sending an email and letting us know that you might or heard of Alex Velez, and here's how we might be able to get a hold of him. His father, his mother care about him. They miss him very much, and they want to be able to stay in touch with him. He just wasn't his in his normal sorts of the way a person would normally be that everybody's acquainted with. So he had he was in an SUV with a brown dog, and so that might help, I hope. And that's all I can tell you. But whatever's going on in your life, Jesus can handle it, because God is bigger than all of us. He's bigger than time itself and space. He's bigger than anything you can think of, because God loves you no matter what. And he wants you to follow God's will. And that's because God is right 100% of the time. Not some of the time like we as humans think and are. 100% of the time. And he created the entire universe. So, on that note, my friends, God bless you. I love you, my brothers and sisters, and I look forward to doing another production for you in the near future. God bless you.